Isabella had always been drawn to the old, decaying mansion on the outskirts of town. Its crumbling walls whispered secrets, and its overgrown garden seemed to hide something sinister. The townspeople spoke of the place in hushed tones, warning each other to stay away. But Isabella was different. She was curious, and her curiosity would lead her down a dark path. One moonless night, Isabella ventured into the mansion. The air was thick with the scent of damp wood and decay. The floorboards creaked under her weight as she explored room after room. Dust-covered furniture stood frozen in time, and faded portraits stared down at her with hollow eyes. As she climbed the grand staircase, Isabella heard a soft rustling. She followed the sound to a hidden door at the end of the hallway. The door was locked, but Isabella's trembling hands found the key hidden beneath a loose floorboard. With a twist, the door swung open, revealing a narrow, winding staircase that led down into darkness. Isabella descended, her lantern casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in around her. She reached the bottom and found herself in a dimly lit chamber. The walls were lined with shelves, each holding glass jars filled with a crimson liquid. Isabella's heart raced as she realized what she was looking at: blood. And then she saw them, the vampires. Not the romanticized creatures of legend, but twisted, tormented souls. Their eyes glowed with hunger, and their fangs dripped with blood. They were trapped, imprisoned by some ancient magic. Isabella's breath caught as she realized the truth: this mansion was their prison, and she had unwittingly set them free. The vampires circled her, their whispers echoing in her mind. They told her their stories of lost love, betrayal, and centuries of suffering. Isabella felt their pain, their longing for release. But they were not the monsters she had feared. They were victims, just like her. Isabella made a choice that night. She would help the vampires find peace. She studied ancient texts, learning how to break their curse. She gathered herbs, performed rituals, and chanted incantations. But the process was slow, and the vampires grew weaker with each passing day. As the moon waned, Isabella felt their gratitude. They no longer circled her with hunger in their eyes. Instead, they whispered words of thanks, promising to protect her from the darkness that lurked beyond the mansion's walls. But there was one vampire who remained silent, a brooding figure named Lucian. His eyes held a sadness that pierced Isabella's heart. She sensed his pain, his guilt. And she wondered what secrets he kept hidden. As the final night approached, Isabella stood before the vampires. The curse could only be broken with a sacrifice, one life in exchange for theirs. She knew what she had to do. Lucian stepped forward, his eyes locking with hers. He offered himself willingly, and Isabella plunged a silver dagger into his heart. The vampires screamed as their curse shattered. They dissolved into mist, their souls finally free. But Lucian remained, his form solid and human once more. He smiled at Isabella, gratitude and sorrow etched on his face. "Thank you," he whispered, fading into the shadows. Isabella returned to the mansion, now empty and silent. She wondered if she would ever see Lucian again. But she knew one thing for certain: she had found her purpose. She would continue to explore the mysteries of the supernatural, seeking redemption for herself and those like Lucian, the haunted souls who roamed the night. And so, Isabella became a vampirist, a keeper of secrets, a healer of souls, and a protector of the darkness that lay hidden in forgotten corners of the world.